Top stories making headlines this evening. India President praises Botswana during her address to Parliament. Media in Botswana renews commitment to report with accuracy, and dozens of protesters called for a just energy transition at the COP30 summit in Brazil. Good evening and welcome to our 7 p.m. Live. It's a great pleasure to be with you once again. My name is Kinali Mudisan-Zima. The President of India, Draupadi Murmu, is in Botswana on a 2-day state visit at the invitation of the President Duma Boko. The President says the historic occasion reflects the deepening friendship and strategic cooperation between the two nations established in 1966. The two leaders spoke at a press briefing following their high-level bilateral meeting in Gaborone.
Later today, I will have the opportunity to address the National Assembly of Botswana. I also look forward to exchanging views with the Vice President of Botswana, Speaker of the Parliament and other dignitaries, and discuss ways to strengthen cooperation between our two countries. I am also looking forward to
the meeting that we held. I reminded with profound played a pivotal part in the development of Botswana and has influenced many epic developments in our country.
He also urged that democracy needs to deliver to the expectations of the people, especially young people.
We as democracies need to be sensitive to the dreams and aspirations of our people, especially to the expectations of our youth. They indeed are the future, and they will define the trajectories that our countries eventually end up taking. The youth today do not just need education and skilling, but they also need avenues to build their professional lives and channelize their creative energies in nation-building efforts. For this to happen, we need to ensure robust and durable economic growth that is also environmentally sustainable. Today, as our economies modernize and diversify, new opportunities are emerging. We need to harness these new opportunities for the benefit of our people. Indian firms are active in Botswana's diamond, energy, and infrastructure sectors. We see immense scope for collaboration in renewable energy, digital innovation, pharmaceuticals, and mining. I invite the business communities from both our countries to work in collaboration to harness the full potential of our economic partnership. This would also be in consonance with Government of Botswana's Vision 2036 initiative. Today, India is the fastest growing major economy in the world. We are on a robust growth trajectory driven by structural reforms, digital transformation, expanding infrastructure, and a youthful workforce, which sustains GDP growth average 7 to 8% annually. India is poised to become the world's third largest economy within the next decade and an enduring growth engine for the global economy.
As cases of gender-based violence continue to rise in Botswana, the Minister of Youth and Gender Affairs has begun consultations with key stakeholders to develop a preventive law aimed at addressing gender-based violence. Speaking to the media yesterday, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Bridget John, stated that the main objective of the proposed legislation is to curb the growing cases of GBV in the country.
Will be drafting to address the deeply concerning issue of gender-based violence. Botswana is part of the global community. We, as the ministry, approached government seeking permission to draft a very comprehensive, preventative, and survivor-centered gender-based violence legislation to address the growing incidence and severity of gender-based violence in Botswana.
According to John, although there are existing laws that address aspects of gender-based violence, they remain fragmented and insufficient in effectively tackling the crisis.
There are a number of such laws that were formulated in an attempt to deal with GBV or violence in general. But over time it has become very clear that we are not winning this war. We all acknowledge that the best case scenario would be for us to be able to prevent gender-based violence. Where we have failed to prevent it, we need to be able to respond adequately to GBV. So, because of the identified gaps, it has been found fit to have a dedicated, comprehensive law that will deal with GBV, both from the perspectives of prevention, as I said, and from a response perspective.
The media in Botswana has renewed its commitment to strive for accuracy, fairness, and accountability in its reporting. This comes amid the recent attacks from the head of state, President Duma Boko, who has criticized the way the media has been reporting lately. Speaking at a training workshop on fact-checking and verification organized by the European Union, the chairman of the Botswana Editors Forum, Lawrence Seretse, said the president's remarks are a wake-up call to journalists to enhance their accuracy in reporting.
Accused of bias, sensationalism, and at times misinformation. Whether or not we share the same assessment, these words are a wake-up call to strengthen the accuracy, fairness, and transparency that define credible journalism. This training could not have come at a better time. Our profession stands on a fragile but sacred trust, the trust of the people. The moment that trust is shaken, truth itself loses its footing. Fact-checking is not just a technical skill, it is a moral discipline. The quiet work that protects the integrity of our newsrooms and preserves the public's faith in our craft. So today's workshop invites us to renew that discipline. It challenges us to confront the misinformation age with sharper tools, stronger editorial processes, and deeper ethical reflection. It reminds us that freedom of expression is sustained not merely by access to a microphone or to a pen, but by the credibility of the voices behind it. As BEF, we are honored to be part of this facilitation of this important collaboration with the European Union delegation. This demonstrates that building a truthful and informed society is a shared responsibility between media, government, and citizens alike. And we would like to thank our stakeholder, the European Union, for making this possible. Today, let us participate with openness and conviction. Let us leave here not only informed, but transformed, determined to make truth, verification, a living culture within every newsroom we lead. We therefore pledge as senior journalists and editors of Botswana to uphold the principles of accuracy, fairness, and transparency, and make fact-checking a permanent and visible pillar of our editorial practice. This, ladies and gentlemen, comes from some of the pillars of what the Botswana Editors Forum promotes and subscribes to. And I believe that your presence here today marks your commitment and determination for us to improve and upskill and continue promoting ethical journalism, verification, and fact-checking.
We see that there's this influx of fake news and mis and disinformation which is spreading also with the speed of light, and therefore the role of journalists and journalism is more important than ever. Journalists are the lifeblood of democracy and the backbone of democracy, and that's why it's so important that you as journalists are empowered and capacitated with the skills that you need to be able to fulfill this role fully. So as I say, we have seen this mass influx of dis and misinformation spreading across the globe. This is not a phenomenon typical only for Botswana. We see it everywhere in the world. We see it in Europe, we see it on the African continent. And this is really also posing huge challenges for journalists worldwide. And it becomes increasingly important to be able to discern facts from fiction so that the journalism can maintain its integrity and really fulfill its full function of being a watchdog, ensuring the well-being and health of our societies and our democracies. You are the cornerstone of a democracy, free media. That's why it is essential that media professionals are also capacitated and fully working to counteract these challenges when it comes to mis and disinformation. So what we want to do with this training session, this is part of our media engagements, and we really want to continue working very closely with the media in partnership, and our dedication is really to support you, to empower you, enable you to carry out the noble duties with precision and with dedication. And we hope that today's session will give you the new ideas, new ways of working. It provides an opportunity to learn from each other, to learn from the trainer, but also for us to learn from you and know what are the challenges that you face and what kind of tools can help you to do your duty.
And now when we get back after a short break, dozens of protesters called for a just energy transition at the COP30 summit in Brazil. Stay with us for more news.
InDrive. Ride at your price. Now with an extra 25% off.
No such pricing. At least this won't be scary. And then when
You can't choose your taste in music, but you can choose your price for a ride.
In terms of abuse, man, I mean, abuse is so common. I mean, so many kids get it from school and not all of them know how to deal with it. How did you deal with it? Like, did you tell and was it just emotional, or there was like some physical? Because some people actually get the lessons, man. I'm sure along this long journey you have learned so many things, you know what I mean, that you can tell to the next person if they're ever trying to venture into this line of work, which is very similar. So what could you say, man? I mean, what are you doing differently this year?
It's a crazy world of endless fun under the moon or blazing sun. Follow Elvin's lead and see how wild and free life can be.
Welcome back to our 7 p.m. Live, and thank you for tuning in. And now taking a look at stories from around the world. Dozens of protesters called for a just energy transition at the 30th edition of the United Nations climate talks currently underway in the Brazilian city of Belém. Now, the global co-working industry is projected to reach over $80 billion within the next decade. South Africa, the continent's most industrialized economy with a strong office culture, is mirroring this global trend.
The WeWork offices in Sandton, the halls are abuzz with a steady flow of people taking up desks or other spaces to get in a productive day's work.
So we've seen a significant shift in how people and businesses think about office space since COVID-19. They require sort of short-term leases versus long-term traditional office space. Companies have prioritized their members in terms of mental health, well-being, as well as collaboration and community, as COVID has had an impact on a lot of people.
In South Africa, this growth rate has more than doubled, soaring to an impressive 44%. Lesego Mokoena, the marketing manager for Park Up, an Uber-like app that connects people to parking spaces in busy urban areas, has used WeWork for the last year. It gives him the freedom and flexibility of not being tied to a rental contract for offices he may not use.
Having worked here and having previously worked in that 9-to-5 very corporate environment, I think there's credence to the community that's here. You can build and network and upscale and cross-sell within this environment, and also because a lot of the job we do is on the road, you don't always have to be here.
Shared workspaces are also becoming creative environments, especially for young entrepreneurs and startups. It just makes business sense because it's cost effective. There are no overheads except for a membership fee that can take you anywhere in the world.
I do think it's very much a trend. I think for a startup with 1 or 2 people, for example, having a space like this gives you some credibility and professionalism. You've got a physical address that people can come to. It's recognized, it's in a redefined building. So yeah, I do think that gives it some credence.
While the space is still dominated by freelancers, big corporations are also moving in.
And we've seen a huge rise in that towards SMEs as well as enterprise clients. And since we now have, I would say, a balance of all segments across our buildings. It's a plug-and-play solution. So you just have to come in with your laptop. You get everything set up in the office, from having an ergonomic chair, a desk, and a lockable credenza.
Despite most big companies returning to fixed offices, co-working spaces are becoming a popular go-to. For fast-paced cities like Johannesburg, hot desking is redefining the world of work, providing freedom, flexibility, and a community environment with like-minded people. Sumitra Nadu, CGTN, Johannesburg.
We now take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have a closer look into the world of sports tonight. Welcome back to our 7 p.m. Live and thank you for tuning in. Now in our sports news, the Botswana Football Association BFA yesterday concluded a 2-day FIFA professionalization course that included Premier League teams as well as the Women's League. The course, sponsored by FIFA, aimed to empower clubs towards greater professionalism and sustainable growth. In an interview with YTV, BFA President Rick Babitseng emphasized that the importance of the initiative, stating that if all clubs are managed properly, it will help ignite football careers as players and staff will be compensated fairly.
Tota hela course yone ya 2-day course ine le yone le gore tota re ne re batla gore di club di simolle go itse gone gore go professionalize go tewa eng ine ba ruta ka dilo le gone gore le community important jang gore ba simolole gore ba kgone gore ba ka itsamaisa kana ba ka kgona gone gore ba ka senka di partnera gone gore ba kgone gore ba sustain di club tsa bone so course ye ine e fundiwa ke FIFA FIFA ne re dira ke yone ne le gore ke yone re netse madi gore course e be kgona gore e tswelele yaanong it was mainly we always start with our Premier League. It was mainly for the Premier League teams. Then ka gore simolotse first division ya basadi leone be re bona gore it was very important gore le bone ba simolle go nna part of it gore ba simolle ka re anon we are now professionalizing everything and the heartbeat of every nation ke di club so ne re batla go itse gone gore di club di simolle go itse gone gore di tlhoka eng di ka tlhoka eng gone gore di kgone gore di attract le batho ka le di sponsorship le how important it is gore di community be di le involved so that is why the basis of what the course entailed are kana le di club tse le gore di ranwa sente kana go ra gore bana ba ile gore ba bereka kana re ke ba tshamiki ba simolla go duelwa sente go ra gore le di career tsa bone di kgona gore di gole sente le bone ba kgone gone go itse gore they have chosen a path ya career e leng gore ba itse gore at the end of the day ba go duelwa re na le di challenge ka di club tse dingwe tse le di sa rane sente tse le di sa kgone gore di duele batho sente we've got cases tse le di kgone go reach le ko FIFA tse leng gore di club tse dingwe di kgona go nna le mathata di tse di tla ko club licensing but this course e ne ba supetsa gone gore ba simolle gore ba ipelege kana re ba equipe gone gore ba kgone gore ba simolle go ipelega kana ba simolle gore ba senke ba rotloetsi sente ba itse gone gore ba ka ha ba rotloetsi ba value kana kang le ba rotloetsi ba ka tsa value kana kang gone mo di teaming tsone tsa rona yaanong mo go nkgatlisang le itlhoke gone gore ditlabo tsa rona le ka di bona countrywide they are community based very few di santse le tsone tseng ka reng they are community based but a lot of them whether we take history ya di cloud tshwale bo Gaborone United tse san di dirwa ka bo 1967 ra tsa bo Township Rollers ra tsa bo BDF 11 aka ne di simolola ko sesoleng bo Policy 11 tse le re di bitsa re di institutional teams ra tsa le tsone di mining teams kana tse re di bitsa re di mining teams tsone tse leng gore le tsone anong di a professionalizer but the essence of it ne ba bontshiwa ebile ba rutiwa gone gore kana ga o sena plan ga o ka ke wa achieve sepe ebile ga o sena plan ya gore o batla go achieve eng ga o ka ke wa achieve sepe yaanong se leng gore se key ke gore now what they have learned here ba go se dirisa ya nyanong in their respective clubs gone gore ba enhance football mo Botswana.
Meanwhile, one of the course attendees, Ramadi, chairman of Joining Galaxy, stated that they had learned a lot about club professionalism. He added that one of the key takeaways to improve local football is the importance of cost-saving measures, such as investing in football development from the grassroots level.
I just want to take you through what we've been doing, more causing FIFA professionalization. I think overall, we have learned a lot of things that will change our football at large. We picked that without strategies. You cannot run any organization without a strategy. We also learned that the governance is very important in running big institutions like football. The honesty in our football, we always make sure that things are done accordingly. it also brings us closer to other leagues and turning into professional. We really need to make sure that we comply to the way of doing things in the world football. We also learn that for you to maybe cost the savings in football, you need to start football from mood or good development there. So in that way, we really have to save some few tables by the way, finish the goods ka madi a local. So if you start football you end up using madi a manyenyane. You also end up being so exposed to other institutions more other countries clubs need to work hands in hands for the beautiful game of every federation. Like Botswana football, we really need to hold hands together really the team to make sure that let's release a couple. Cause to me, so often, so that I can refresh and understand the new world of football outside our country. This will make us turning from semi-professional into a professional league.
That is all the sports update for tonight. Let's now recap the headlines. The visiting President of India praises Botswana during her address to Parliament media in Botswana, renews commitments to report with accuracy, and dozens of protesters called for a just energy transition at the COP30 summit in Brazil. And that's all the news we had for you tonight. Thank you once again for watching YTV. You can follow us on our Facebook page or get in touch with us on our WhatsApp line, that is in 74119 209. And for myself, the king and author of announcement at the rest of the YTV News team, have a blessed night.